What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video I'd like to talk about a crypto that has some immense potential: KEETA, KTA, KEETA coin, KEETA crypto. I call it KEETA the cheetah, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over some news related stuff first, and then that have very bullish promise and prospects for the near future and the long term. And then we're going to go over some price predictions with the charts, giving some forecasts on what I expect the price to do between now and the end of October, between now and the end of the year, and by the end of the cycle. Right? I've been doing technical analysis now for about 10 years, so I've got a little experience, a little know-how in how to forecast these charts. It's not perfect. I've been right before, I'll be right again. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. But we use statistics to back up and base our projections from there. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about this here. Before I start talking, I actually want to let the CEO, Ty Shank, I want to let him say some stuff that he posted on the 18th here. KEETA posted on the 18th. He's the CEO of KEETA. I'm just going to mute myself and let him talk real quick. Okay, here we go.
I think that one of the biggest is going to be the on and off ramp between fiat and stablecoins. It seems like a really simple use case, but existing providers charge exorbitant fees. We're going to have a very competitive anchor on that front. And once we announce that partnership, I think everyone's going to be very excited. So that's the main use case, day zero of that anchor going live. I think from there, it really builds on, similar assets. I think every asset class has the same problem. So that's going to be expanded out. You can imagine cryptocurrencies use our chain as a means of an L2 or more instant transfers. I think you're going to see TradFi use us as a means to tokenize and onboard real world assets. So it's really going to be kind of across the board. And that's the great thing about what we offer. I think one of the other main use cases, which is very obvious and brought up a lot, is the remittance space. The ability to have US dollars in my wallet and then say, hey, I want to pay Ario. And he could be, in a different country and he can receive that in his local currency in his bank account without him even knowing that I used KEETA in the process.
All right, guys. I don't know if you heard all that or what you took away from that, but man, that's some pretty cool stuff, right? There's, first off, he was talking about a partnership that's heavily anticipated that's going to be announced here pretty soon, which I think is going to be maybe not life-changing, but as far as fundamentals go and as far as the long-term prospects go, you need partnerships. Key partnerships in the financial space are definitely going to help you grow. Talking about the remittance space, where one of the most obvious use cases for crypto, especially at the moment right now, is converting capital like cash, US dollars, into crypto, right? Taking fiat, and not just US dollars, actually. He said fiat, any and all types of currency, and converting it into crypto so that you can use the mainnet, you can transact and send this. You could send dollars from place to place using KEETA, using the network, and it'll be a seamless kind of cheap way to do things, right? There's some very big things that they're planning on doing here. Obviously, if you've looked at the fundamentals, if you've done some analysis on this isn't anything new to you, but there's some big things that he talked about in here that might be new to you. They also made an announcement here recently saying that today marks the beginning, this was 1 hour ago, of a new era. KEETA Network Mainnet is live. So good, they've got the Mainnet live as of today, the 23rd of September. Good job. A global system for value transfer built for banks, governments, and people everywhere, right? There's also this that they posted below. Stay tuned on X during the upcoming days for more information about the rollout of KEETA's Mainnet, including information on the following: additional network features, updated roadmap and plans moving forward, partnership announcements. That's awesome, right? The updated roadmap, I'm looking forward to that because I want to see what this new stuff is. What that they're going the same direction they've always wanted to go to, but there's some updates and new features that they're trying to add. So I think that'll be exciting to read. The partnership, I don't really care about, right? I think it's something to build a story off of. It's something to get excited about. But if you're new to the space, partnerships might seem like a big deal, but let me tell you, and I've been doing this for like 10 years, so I've just seen this happen. Partnerships don't mean anything, man. You could partner with IBM. It doesn't mean anything. There is a crypto, by the way, called Credits. 2 cycles ago, they partnered with IBM. Have you ever heard of Credits? That's my point. They made like 30 partnerships a year. Partnerships are kind of a fart in the wind, in my opinion. But there's something to, if you have the right crypto, the right project, the right narrative, it is something to build a little hype over. People get excited and we see a little bit of a pump as a result of that. Let's talk about the price action here, though. Some really interesting stuff over the coming days. It sounds like it's going to come out. So it is possible that KTA does pump from here. But I'm looking at the price action, and it's no coincidence, right? It's no coincidence that today the mainnet gets launched and we're selling off, right? Are we selling off because there's issues with the mainnet, because it's not what we expected it to be? Maybe there's some glitches. Maybe sometimes whenever you release a mainnet, there are some bugs and stuff you got to work out. So that's kind of a thing. Maybe we're selling off because the anticipation of the mainnet being released is what caused the price to go higher. It was priced in already, so now we're selling the news, right? Buy the hype, sell the news. And these sell the news events lately have been taking place a little bit prior to the news being released. Sometimes it's on the day, oftentimes it is on the day that the news is released, sometimes it's before, sometimes it's even after. But I think today, dropping 11% on the release of this news, it's pretty clear that this is a sell the news event, right? This was released an hour ago, this information that we got that the mainnet was out, and that was the high. Was it the high of the day? Almost the high of the day, but it was the high of the recent hours here, and we started to drop right there. So I would think that we have more dropping to go. There's more good news coming out as the days go on, so I'm assuming that's only going to provide more sell the news kind of events. But it's kind of funny because a lot of people assume that good news means that we're going to pump. It does mean we're going to pump up until the news, and then once the news is released, then we kind of sell off. So because the insiders are aware of it beforehand, right? People who were aware the mainnet was going to get released on this day, they bought down here. Right? There's some big bags they bought. They sold off a little bit early. They took their winnings. How much did they get here? Let's just see. Let's pretend that they scooped up at an average at this price. You know, if you started to sell here where there's a lot of volume, you had 30% growth, 40% growth, something in that range, you're able to get on and get off at a pretty nice gain there over just a couple of days worth of growth. That's not bad at all. So they're probably waiting for the price to come back down. When I say they, I mean the big dogs, the ones with a lot of money, not just a couple $1,000s or tens of thousands of dollars in their bank accounts. I'm talking about millions of dollars or more. The big dogs are coming back, but probably not at these prices. Probably not at the release of some good news, right? They've been here before. They know what they're doing. Let's see. Looking at this overall, before we get into the short-term stuff, I actually do want to look at the daily. The daily time frame here, first and foremost, looks magnificent, right? We've been talking about KTA, KEETA since all the way back here, since it was below, I want to say it was below 2 cents or maybe just above 2 cents. Adam or Andrew, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it's Adam. Somebody recommended this coin to me. We looked into it, and we've been bullish on it ever since. It's been fantastic. Definitely wish that, I did not buy any down here. We did buy up here, but we were talking about it. It's because it was so high. We didn't know. It was so new, but it was it was at like its high point, but we still bought some down here and made some decent money off of that. Definitely didn't expect it to grow as much as it did, but here we are consolidating. If you asked me back here in June that we'd be consolidating still going into October, I would have said, no, we're going to move up before then. I thought that we were going to move up before then, but man, here we are still consolidating in this massive, massive range. Absolutely abundant opportunity here to buy before this thing launches to higher prices. You don't have to buy it on Dex Screener either, right? Or not Dex Screener. You don't have to buy it through means of a Dex either. KTA is on a few different exchanges. There's an announcement. I'm pretty sure they're going to get listed on Coinbase too. Somebody said that in the live stream yesterday, that there's going to be a Coinbase listing. And that makes sense. KTA, KEETA, it's one of the biggest, it might be the biggest project that's not a meme coin on the Base network. Literally. It might be and it's its own blockchain, right? Like it might be a really good thing for the Base network, the Base ecosystem in itself, that KEETA is growing and it is standing out from the crowd. And Coinbase, being that Coinbase is the creator of Base, they might want to promote KEETA, or they might want to list it on Coinbase itself. Brian Armstrong said that you don't have to pay to get listed on Coinbase. They do it based off of merit. So I wonder if they do pay. I wonder if that happens, or if Coinbase scoops them up. If that's the case, if Coinbase has to scoop them up on their own dime, they're not getting paid to do it. They're scooping it up on their own dime. I would assume that KEETA does rip from that Coinbase acquisition. They're probably acquiring it now, and once they've acquired enough, it'll rip, and then they'll list it. Once Coinbase lists, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I'm assuming that once Coinbase rips or lists, it'll be when KEETA, KTA is at its high, and that'll be a clear time to sell. I hope that everybody acts accordingly from there. It doesn't mean that as soon as they list it's time to sell. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Time will tell. But I'll hold your hand once we get to that. But KEETA here, KTA, it's available on Kraken, Pith, Blowfin, Poloniex, Mexi, CoinEx. It's available on all these things, but not on Coinbase. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Coinbase was trying to scoop some up here. Looking at the price action here, getting into the nitty gritty, getting into the actual price predictions. We look at the 1 hour time frame. I think it's abundantly clear that we are going to go lower, that we're going to go a little bit lower. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. One second. My daughter keeps trying to play, and I love her. We do play a good bit, but I just can't have her face. I hope you guys understand. I can't have her face on this screen. Anyways, 93 cents right now. It would make sense to me that we go a little bit lower. We're probably going to get lower lows in the RSI, lower lows in the price, but not too much lower. I mean, based off of this, you're almost in that oversold area now. I don't know. Do you hold this low as support, or do you go below this low? I don't feel confident one way or another yet. Let's just keep analyzing this low to high. 89 cents, 85 cents, somewhere in there. That's where I think you're going to go. You're at 93 cents now, so a little bit lower to find support. If you do find support there, what we're looking for is a bounce from 85 cents, 89 cents, that area, to come back up above 96.5 cents. If we can come back up above 96.5 cents, multiple 1 hour time frames closing in a row above there, I think that would be positive. Okay, that would convince me that this is the low. Maybe a little bit more would be nice, but that would start to really convince me that that's the low. If we come back up, we find resistance here, and we come back down, then it's very clear at that point that we're going to 70 cents or lower. And that's okay if we do. It's okay if we do. It's totally fine if that happens. If we take a 4 hour time frame, we look at this here, the RSI has rejected the overbought, so we actually had a double top here, some bearish divergence. Might come down, might take this low out, hold these lows overall. Perhaps you get a double bottom over here, or a slightly lower low, you get a little fake out, and then you move up. If we were to go to 70 cents, which is that first target, oh man, I guess it would take out these lows, wouldn't it? Let's see, low to high here. 70 cents, 71 cents, my bad, would be the, I think, wasn't it 70? 71.5 cents would be the first target. So that would be a double bottom in direct correlation with this low over here, if we're looking at it. It'd be right there. Oh, it's even a little bit lower than that. We could go down to 61 cents. Let's zoom out a little bit more. I think that'd be okay. We can do that, and it's still fine. We can take out that low and still be fine. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm hoping I'm hoping that KEETA goes to 70 cents or lower. I'd love to scoop some more up. I really do believe KTA has some serious potential. Man, somebody in the live stream yesterday asked me, what 3 coins would you invest in if you were deallocating, if you're taking gains from Bitcoin and allocating into altcoins? I should have said KTA. I should have thrown KTA into there. I should have said I wouldn't do it in 3, I'd do it in 4. And I'm not going to repeat the other ones just because I'm not trying to take away attention from KTA, but KTA definitely should have been one that was talked about. The other ones were Bitcoin Cash, Onyx Coin, and Cookie DAO. But KTA's definitely should have been in the mix for sure. Looking at this on a daily basis, daily RSI is neutral. Overall, very bullish. Overall, I hope it's abundantly clear that we are in this very bullish consolidation phase here. With these wedges, which I can't draw a straight line to save my life, with these kind of wedges, fake outs are very common, right? So we can fake out to the downside, we can fake out to the upside, whatever. I do expect that inevitably we are going to break out and move higher. Let's talk about that, okay? So we've talked about the downside, and just in case it's not clear, let's do this again real quick. Hold on. Take a low to a high. 71 cents to 60 cents. That's the target area. If we see lower lows, okay, 88 cents to 85 cents, that's the target area if we see higher lows, okay? And I already went over what to expect if we validate the higher low or the lower low idea. Let's see here. Golden ratio down at the 236, it's at 57 cents, so that lines up. The 382 is at 71 cents, which lines up pretty well with that 1272 there at 71 cents as well. So a lot of significance there. I'm not really convinced one way or another. I'm just saying here, I wouldn't be sad if we took out this low. I wouldn't be sad if we took out these lows even. Or found support around here. That's okay. We can go that low. We could drop 20 cents from here and everything's fine for KEETA. Okay. It's just a better opportunity to buy. If you buy here, it's at a massive discount compared to what it was 2 days ago. But don't sell if it goes lower, right? Definitely don't sell if it goes lower. When we do move higher, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. These lines are too thick, man. I need to make these lines a little less thick. They're too blurry whenever they're that thick. When we see new all-time highs, the target area that I would assume we go to is the 1886 or higher. I'll explain why. So we look at this here. We take our high to our low. Where did we stop? We went all the way up to the 2272, and typically with the 2272, you do wick a little bit above there. The fact that you found support on the 1886 was brilliant. You went all the way up to your 3618. Okay, all the way up there next. Crazy, crazy, crazy significance there. We look at this next high. Remember, you stopped just above the 2272. High here to a low here. This time you went above the 2886. I don't know what that would be. Maybe that's the 3272. It's a bit of a more shallow range, but still immense, crazy growth. So with that in mind, calling for the 1886 or higher, I think is very fair because we are at a higher market cap. And this is a bit of a bigger range. I would expect that we see less dramatic growth as far as the fibs go. We might not hit the 2272. I think we will in time, but maybe not by the end of this next move. Maybe we hit the 2272, but we don't hit the 2618 or the 2886, something like that. But this high to low here, we went to the 2272. This high to low here, we went above the 3618. This time, we're just calling for the 1886 or higher. So we're at 92 cents with the prospects of going down to about, what was it, like 85 cents, 88 cents, something like that at a minimum. 71 cents, 60 cents at a maximum. Let's just say we get at 87 cents. Let's just say that right there. The minimum target that I would have personally would be $5.80. That's about a 6.6x. The maximum target that I would have personally would probably be about $10. Psychological resistance there at $10, right? Psychological resistance and Fibonacci resistance here. That's about an 11.5x at $10. So $10, $5.80, somewhere in that range. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. If not by the end of October, then by the end of the year, okay? Perhaps what we see is something like $3.99, $4 going into the end of October, and then we see further growth going into the end of the year. I really would expect that we are above $6, but probably not above $10 or just above $10 by the end of 2025. Going into the end of the cycle, and we look at KEETA here. Hold on. KTA. We look at its market cap. You got a market cap of, I want to say it's like 440. No, it's 400 million. So just under $400 million there. $400 million. Let's just say that, okay? With this crypto, with the capabilities that it has, I think that a $40 billion market cap is completely attainable. That's a 100x from here. I think a $60 billion and $80 billion market cap are even attainable valuations to have. That would give us anything from 100 to a 200x, 150x, anything and everything in between is possible, okay? Crazy, crazy things. We're at 92 cents now. From the current price, a 100x is possible. That would put us at about $92. What is $92 really close to? What's a nice psychological level of resistance there? $100. So it's quite possible. What's crazy, man, is that this coin is not even worth $1, and that by the end of this cycle, which I don't think is the same thing as by the end of this year, I think the end of the cycle will be in early 2026. I was going to say 2022. I don't know where my head was. I would think that by the end of this cycle, in April, May, March, somewhere in that time frame, we're seeing this thing approach $100. Just below, just above, right on the money, somewhere in that area. That's where I think we're going to go. And unfortunately, we don't have enough historical data really to show any fibs that would allow for that. I mean, the 3618's all the way up here at the $65 mark. We've shown two fibs where we've shown significance at the 3618, maybe 65 at a minimum. Okay, cool. And again, I'm going to take it from this 87 cent idea, not even from the current price, or 88 cents, because you'll be a little bit lower, and that changes the percentage a little bit. What if we had $65? Boo-hoo. You don't get 100x, you get a 74x. Boo-hoo. Cry about it. $154, that's about 172x. Could we see 172x? Absolutely. We could see an $80 billion market cap, which is a 200x. So anything's possible. There's a lot of growth. I don't feel confident on either of these fibs. They're so far away. I don't know if we're going to show direct support there. Maybe we do, or resistance there. Maybe we do. But I am confident that we stop somewhere in this area. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.